and intention, where we gather to celebrate the life of Elaine Brown Norwood, with joy and in gratitude, with sadness and in grief. It is our tradition in Unitarian Universalism to mark our sacred times together with the lighting of a chalice and words of invocation. We light this flame as our fervent plea to brighten the dark corners of our hearts. We hold this flame, for in it is the promise of warmth for souls grown cold in loss and despair. We kindle this light that we might continue to find comfort in its warmth, strength in its light, holiness in its presence. We follow this light that it might illuminate our search for purpose, for meaning, and forgiveness. We light this chalice, knowing even as this sacred spark of life is extinguished, in the ensuing darkness, its light, Elaine's light, will still burn bright with memory. We light this flame of life, of love and truth for the divine promise of healing hearts. Now I will light our candle of memory and hope, which represents the light Elaine brought into the world. May this flame remind us of both our gratitude for life and the transience of it. May we all live the rest of our days knowing life's preciousness. In this time together, may we remember Elaine. May we find strength in our faith and in each other, and may we be reverent witnesses to the life that she led. Please rise in body or spirit, and let us sing. We come into this time with many feelings, and this is a time to express them through tears, through laughter, and words of remembrance. For this is a place where we together hold both the joy of love and the pain of loss. Although all grief is difficult, all loss is so hard. If grieve we must, we all wish it may be for one who has led a long and full life, rather than someone whose time was cut short. Elaine Norwood lived a complete life. She had strong convictions, and she expressed them in her work in the community and in her activism. She approached death with the same conviction, with dignity and certainty, on her timeline, on her terms. With the generous and courageous support of and in the presence of 2 of her children. She believed in personal autonomy and the right for people to make their own choices, a theme in both her death and in her activism. She lived out her convictions to the very end. May we all find inspiration in that. It was a pleasure for me to visit Elaine and get to know her a bit over the last 3 years. I appreciated her stories and her continuing interest in the people here at the fellowship. Often on our visits, she seemed to know more about what was going on here than I did, having kept current by consistently and faithfully reading our e-newsletter. She told me once that, hey, on Wednesday you're having tacos. The fact had totally slipped my mind, but she knew. She shared with me the many activities at Goof that she and Joe were involved in over the years. Although they both set limits, and that limit was neither of them would ever agree to serve on the board of trustees. I pondered, perhaps that's the reason both she and Joe made it to 100 years old. Right here, we may have found the key to longevity, right here in this fellowship. Don't serve on the board. All humor aside, it was wonderful to experience Elaine's sharp intelligence and curiosity about others, her ability to keep up with what was going on in the world, even as her access to that world was challenged by losses in sight, in hearing, and mobility. I will always appreciate her kindness and straightforward graciousness, even though she did tell me that she was well past the part of life that involved going to church and listening to sermons. I took no offense. If I make it anywhere near 101 years old, I can guarantee you that I will not be listening to any sermons either. Although Elaine led a complete life of many years, I wish I had been able to know her for more of them. But I know by your evident love, the love of this congregation, the love of this family, and your admiration for her, that I truly did miss out on a lot. Never forget the gifts of her presence. Never forget the gifts of her life. I would like to share with you a short poem that I suspect Elaine would like. One of the reasons I think she might like it is because it has nature and it's not religious at all. It's called Sowing, S-O-W-I-N-G, as in the sowing of seeds, and it was written by Miguel Otero Silva. When nothing remains of me but a tree, when my bones have been scattered beneath our Mother Earth, when nothing remains of you but a white rose, nourished by that which you once were, when the breath of the kiss that we exchange today has embarked upon 1,000 different breezes, when even our names have become more sounds without echo, asleep in the shade of a fathomless sound. then you will live on in the beauty of the rose, and I in the rustling of the tree, and our love in the murmur of the breeze.
Well, we meet again. This is the second time up here. Been a little while. Courageous, kind, humanity, loving, badass. Just pick your whatever name, it fits. She followed her heart. And that's what she wanted all the people that she met, wanted them to do, is if you see injustice anywhere, do something about it. Say something about it. Her parents were both born in 1900. They died fairly young. Her mother, Ada, was big on poetry and stories and taught mostly the females of the family the poems and the quips and everything from Lewis Carroll, various poets. But because it was 1924 when she was born and grew up during the Depression, and polio was rampant, there were certain things you had to do according to Mom, which was take a rest during the day, eat properly, and they would share poetry. They would share stories. And my mom really loved her childhood. She loved sleeping outside during those summer nights that were too hot to stay in the house. Her father, Raymond, was sickly with probably something we could cure. Maybe a heart condition, might have been TB, I don't know. He lived till 1962. He was a established and well sought after calligrapher and sign painter. And so all the businesses out there wanted to have their signs done by him, but his illnesses limited the amount of work he could do. So the family grew up fairly poor. They also grew up fairly sparse apart. My mother was, 5 years older, 7 years older than Duane, something like that, older than Joann and Lynn. So Duane's the only surviving member of the family, of her siblings. Her mother died, I believe, in 1955, and probably during childbirth. That's kind of a secret that we don't really know. But that was a very common thing in that time and period. I don't know how she got her desire to do change and do good among people, but she got it early and brought it into her heart. And so when World War II was breaking out, she worked as a riveter, doing quality control on bolts for planes and bombers and whatnot. She just stared through a magnifying glass or a microscope and checked for cracks. She was engaged prior to World War II, and we don't know anything about her. But he was killed in the Pacific Theater. And I guess that loss got her involved in the war effort, and she joined up with the Women's Air Corps, where she did clerical work, whatnot, whatever's needed to keep the whole thing going. We don't know anything about this man. She wouldn't share it with me, even though I've asked a few times. Obviously, I'm sure he missed it. He was missed. Well, during the time she was a WAC, Women's Air Corps, she met my dad, Joe, she asked him out to a dance because he was too scrawny and shy to ask anybody out. She asked him. Well, that was the beginning of 76 years of marriage, where 4 children were had after moving from Reedville to Greenville and all. But it was in the 50s that she really started expressing her need to lift others up, change what's not right. And this is Jim Crow South. She was instrumental in starting up a biracial group where they'd meet at people's houses and discuss topics and similarities and needs, and was helpful in getting a black doctor to Greenville during that period. She did lose a daughter early, my sister Kit, and I know that was very hard on her. And I knew she did not want to lose anybody else towards the end. But she persevered through a lot of things and tried to change a lot of ways that Greenville was built on, which was not kind to certain people. The whole rental flip-flop they would do in this county for poor people, sell properties out and force people to move every 7 years because of the tax advantage the rentals would get. It just broke up families. She did not like that. I think what she would rather have me say to you guys today is that, one, why aren't you at the No Kings? And what are you going to do tomorrow? She showed her heart and her truth to everybody she met. She engaged you in conversation that might be uncomfortable. And she did her best to just survive this kind of crazy world. And we are in the middle of crazy now. And hopefully the people that are here and the other people that knew my mom will go and carry the flame, the torch of the Gil and Clay Rowlands, the Clarence Jordans, the Mabel and Martin Englands that she knew during her lifespan in Greenville, who worked deeply with them. And the people here are the new torchbearers. So if your heart says you need to go do something or say something, say it. Make it heard, get together, work towards the good. Let's talk towards her final days. I know some people are going to talk about her flamboyant life as a criminal. But for the last 5 years that I had the privilege of doing care on the weekends and my sister during the week and Gail and my brother coming up whenever they could, she really was tired. She was losing her sight. She was very deaf, and she was bored. She was losing the ability to read. She would look at you and your head would grow tall. The mind makes up all sorts of filler. So the filler is all she saw. Her hearing was getting very bad, and her reading of 2 books a week got down to probably 1 every 2 weeks. And Sue was very good at getting up to date and good books there. But then she read an article in the Greenville News about Pegasus in Switzerland. And she was adamant and made her mind up right then that was what she wanted to do. She gave my sister and myself the honor of traveling to Switzerland, where some of the kindest people I've met, other people on the same journey, took care of my mom in a respectful way. She was bored. Her life was, for the most part, in a blank place where she can't hear a conversation, can't see, can't enjoy the nature that she loved, and she couldn't paint. She was losing the ability to read. And with much kindness, Pegasus assisted in her pulling her own trigger, more or less. Sue and I were holding both hands. And I've never seen anything so rapid. She left us within 10 seconds of her applying the phenobarbital that killed her. I'm kind of jealous because she's out of this crazy world, but I still want to call her. And then I have to remember that I can't, so I just talk to her. I got a little poem here from Mary Oliver that stuck with me for years. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I've ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this, the fires of the Black River of Loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. I miss my mom, love her dearly. She's in my heart, and I want her to be in your hearts. Tell her story often. And thanks for being here. And go to the No Kings afterwards, please. Follow your heart. Thank you.
Now we get to do our penance for not being at the No Kings rally. Please rise in body or spirit, and let us sing with gusto that would make Elaine proud. We shall overcome. One of the most loving ways to remember someone is to tell stories and share memories. I would like to invite those who would like to come forward and share a memory of Elaine. If you would like to come forward a little bit and wait there's room in the front pew here and their side pews. That helps people move along a little quicker. That would be appreciated. And if it is difficult for you to come to the microphone, I invite you to raise your hand and I can bring the microphone to you.
I'll start. We knew Elaine and Joe for over 30 years. And every Tuesday we would meet for a supper. And I really miss that because I hate cooking right now. And we would share stories about our children, good and bad. And Elaine shared one of my hobbies, which was painting. And Muriel and I and some others would get together maybe twice a month, and in her basement we would paint. And she decided that she couldn't paint anymore, but she could. And Elaine had the love of reading, which I did too, and we shared many books, plus the American Art Review magazine. She was a gutsy lady. If she wanted to do something, she did it. And we miss her.
Maybe you could hold that if you would. I wanted to write a poem, an ode to Elaine. Elaine Norwood, a compassionate and feisty lady, fought for justice and equality for women. Assailed by another lady at an abortion clinic, she pushed back, was arrested and jailed. Elaine loved by all, those fortunate enough to know her.
We love her.
I was about 15 in the early 1960s, and my family and I had the privilege of being next door neighbors to Joe and Elaine for one day. We moved into our house on Friday, and they moved out of their house on Sunday. What are you going to do?
I shouldn't be nervous. I really wanted to do this and share what Elaine, we called her Mrs. Norwood, of course, and she was our Girl Scout leader. Oh, I don't even know what years, but from the time we were in elementary school until, I don't know, sometime in junior high, I don't know, many years. And I'm here today to represent Troop 151 of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America. And there are several people here. Don't worry, I'm not going to say stand or anything crazy like that. But people are here. And she was one of our leaders. The Girl Scouts usually recruit the mothers of the girls to be the leaders. And my mother was a leader. Elaine Norwood was a leader. And I have to do the names I remember. like I don't remember what their married names are. So Ann White's mother was a leader sometimes, and who did I miss? Oh, Janet Ellis's mother. And all of them taught us values about the equality of people. And it meant, equality means all people, all people. And I got that. We didn't know we were being indoctrinated into some liberal lifestyle, but she taught us these are America's values. This is what the democracy, this is what it's all about. And I was the little, I know you can't tell now, but I was the little tomboy running around. She accepted me. Not only did she accept me, she affirmed me. She said, oh, Margie, oh, by the way, my name is Margie, and I still have the same, I have the same name, I had to think about it, Creech. So, so I was the little tomboy running around, and she'd say, oh, and by the way, we have another member of our troop named Margie Davenport. I kind of got her last name right, I think. And don't worry, you don't have to stand, but she said, yes, I did. And I called her Margie too, because I was in the troop first, or she wasn't in the troop, but we had an expanded troop. We accepted other people, like all are invited. My sister, even though she's 2 years older and had another Girl Scout troop, she was part of it. Well, we would get together every year, usually the day after Christmas, and have sing-alongs or little parties where people would bring the leftover cookies from Christmas. I know this is getting long. I'll end pretty soon. This is not a sermon, you mean? Okay. And one of the places we would meet was Mrs. Norwood's house. She always invited us, along with her husband, and of course her daughter, Sue. We got to go to their house sometimes. And we did this when we were in our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, our 70s. We still get together and we sing some of those Girl Scout songs. So she helped us to learn how to sing. Girl Scouts always sing. But mainly the thing I wanted to bring out was how she taught us to accept people with their differences. Now, I'm Christian, proudly Christian, but I have Unitarian values. I don't see a conflict there. I know a lot of you don't. And she taught us that and of course, Girl Scouts, we weren't allowed to talk about religion, but we got these spiritual values that we carried with us our entire lives and still do. I can get together with these women, these senior women, these women with white hair, and we can't hear very well, and I can't see very well sometimes. And we still have the same values of accepting people, inviting them into the group. And I just want to say there should be more Elaine Norwoods in the world, many more. And I know wherever she is, she still has those values. And she's being recognized for those values. And she's probably being given other assignments. I believe this. Thank you.
I didn't know Elaine until later in life, and we got to really know each other at the pool over in Greenville. I won't tell you which pool it was. And there were a group of ladies there who decided we should be converted, and they tried and tried and tried to convert us every time we got to the pool. So finally I left, but Elaine stayed. We also painted with Carol at her home for a while. And my sight was failing, so I stopped painting at her home. She always wanted me to paint faster. I didn't go fast enough for her, but she encouraged every minute of it, and I love her.
Years ago, my ex-husband and I started the fellowship and became members here. And we joined Susan Crow Ganger's covenant group. And in the summertime, we would pick different couples in the fellowship, and we would have them over for dinner, and we would learn about their spiritual beliefs. I was so excited that it was Joe and Elaine's turn. And learning about Joe going in the corn field to get dressed for their wedding in Joplin, Missouri, to her getting dressed in the church. And her and the abortion clinics was something else. First time she was arrested was in the 60s. Then it got the 70s. She had several bouts and went to jail for a couple of weeks. In the 80s, she met Who was the minister before you even met? Pat Joe. Can't think. Started her a savings account at the bank so she could bail herself out of jail. And there was several thousands of dollars in that bank account. She was a go-getter, an absolute go-getter. I loved her, and at the dinner the first time, I was kind of shocked that she was an atheist and that she didn't believe that there was anything after life, there was no second life, and I'm, very Hindu on that part. And she said if it made me feel better was to get a rose and plant it in the memorial garden. This is a bad time of the year to go get roses, so next spring I will get a rose for her. And it was kind of, Lisa and I thought it was odd that she had picked out a rose poem for Elaine, so I will buy a white and a red, and we will plant one in a tree, and we will plant one in the ground.
I was lucky to know Elaine a little over 50 years, Elaine and Joe. I met them at Gil Rowland's discussion group when we first moved to Greenville. So in planning the music for today, a song just came to me, and I looked it up, and it's written by Irving Berlin in 1925, the year after she was born. And the words just fit her because it's about taking care of your family, your friends, sharing the love. When things get hard, she was always there for us. And then it goes the other way. As things got hard for her, all her friends and family were there for her. So this song goes both ways. It's like a full circle. And Merity's going to sing the first time through, and then we invite you to sing it with us the second time through. And it's I Will Be Loving You Always, or always.
just a day, not for just a year, but always. I'll be loving you always, with a love that's true always. When the things you've planned need a helping hand, I will understand. Always, always. Days may not be fair, always. That's when I'll be there. Always, not for just an hour, not for just a day, not for just a year, but always.
Before I extinguish the chalice and candle, marking the end of our service together today, I would like to share these words. We are each other's immortality. Each of us is a skein of lives stretching forward and backward in time, connecting everyone we have known, everyone they have known, and everyone who will come after us. We carry each other back from the threshold of life and death. Some part of those we love is gone forever, but some part is ours to have and to hold and to make real in the world. So many of us have received love and light from Elaine Norwood. Take that light into your life and into the lives of all you encounter. And may you always be able to see that light reflected in all you do. I will be exiting with the family, and please plan to join them in the fellowship hall in a few minutes.